I don't think she's going to have the same request for teleprompter and mic muting and all of the things that Biden needed because he was a much weaker candidate.
Wait. First of all, there was no teleprompter involved in the debate.
Who is going to be the next president of the United States? Joining me today are Corinne Clark, who's the founder of the news site Free Press Failed in Washington, D.C., and Antjuan Seawright, a Democratic strategist and former advisor on numerous Democratic presidential campaigns. Before we start, Corinne, tell us, what is Free Press Fail?
Free Press Fail is an alternative to the mainstream media. We launched in 2016 to take on the fake news that was coming after Donald Trump, and they did not really stop, so neither did we.
So you're a pro-Trump media site, would that be right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's start with Kamala Harris, who got a rousing reception in Atlanta when she addressed Donald Trump head on. Let's take a listen.
Well, Donald, I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage. Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say, say it to my face.
So, Antjuan, do you think there is going to be debates between Trump and Kamala Harris?
Look, I think it's an incredible opportunity for both candidates to allow the American people to allow the ideas to flow freely and for their records to be on full display. It's sad that the overly confident Donald Trump just a few weeks ago, anywhere, any place, anytime, is now going into hiding when it comes to having an open discussion, moderate discussion about the issues, both the challenges we face and the records that they both have the ability to stand on.
Corinne, he had agreed to a presidential debate on September the 10th. Is he ducking out now?
It doesn't seem that way. I think he told Fox News just this week that he probably will end up debating. I think after everything that happened with the last debate, Donald Trump probably feels even more confident, but he said he is waiting till the Democrats actually confirm their candidate at convention, because last time he debated a candidate who was not confirmed at convention, he dropped out of the race. So I think that they are correct, the Trump campaign, to renegotiate once Kamala receives the actual nomination, and they will debate after that. I think closer to the election, it'll be great to see the exchange of ideas.
But why do you think they need to renegotiate? I mean, a debate's a debate. You have two sides and you debate your opponent.
I think every candidate should focus their debate on the candidate that they're going to be debating. All of the rules had been set up for Joe Biden. There were a lot of specific things that benefited Trump in a debate against Biden and benefited Biden in a debate against Trump. I think that they will want to renegotiate those so it makes a little more sense because he's debating a completely different candidate. I think it will also benefit Kamala to have that debate, to have the rules that she wants and not the rules that Biden wanted. I don't think she's going to have the same request for teleprompter and mic muting and all of the things that Biden needed because he was a much weaker candidate.
Wait. First of all, there was no teleprompter involved in the debate. Second of all, if her name is Kamala Harris, not Kamala, not all the things that you and others continue to mention. Third of all, it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the stage. If you're confident in your ideas, if you're confident in your record, and you're confident in your agenda for the American people for the next 4 years, even though you may be the oldest candidate in American history, even though there may be some cognitive decline, questions about mental acuity, certainty, extremism that come along with your agenda. If you're confident in who you are as a candidate, it doesn't matter who's sitting next to you. You want to have a discussion about the ideas. That's what a debate is.
2 weeks ago, Democrats were speaking equally confidently about a candidate who is now out of the race. So I think we can drop the charade here.
Hang on. Apology. Let's keep it clean. Apologies for that.
Last time that the Democrats debated Donald Trump, their candidate had to drop out of the race. I think it is completely normal for a renegotiation of debate rules to happen. That will happen. Kamala will receive the nomination and she will debate Donald Trump.
Okay.
Well, first, so can I
respond first? Antjuan, just finally on this point.
you're disrespectful to the Vice President of the United States if you purposely pronounce her name wrong. That's number one. Number two,
That is ridiculous. You know how many times people pronounce my name wrong? I do not do it purposely. I've heard it multiple different ways. I would love it if I had.
All right, but if you've been told how it is, surely you should use the correct pronunciation, right?
I absolutely am not trying not to use the correct pronunciation.
All right, thank you for clarifying.
If that's the attack, that is just ridiculous.
Okay, let's leave that one. Antjuan.
If you're going to let her ramble, then we should not have a discussion. She's rambled and not let me get a word in.
No, I'm not.
My question last time.
Antjuan, you have the floor now. Say what you got to say, and then we'll move on to the next issue.
It does not matter the setting. It should not matter any of those things that the Trump campaign and his supporters want to make up about a debate. A debate should happen anywhere, anytime. It should be a flow of ideas. There's been a agreed upon structure, timing, place, location for the debate. It's sad that Donald Trump can't defend his own record.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, I do want to raise something that Donald Trump said at the end of last week at a Turning Point Action Believers Summit in Florida. This is a quote. He said, "Vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years. You know what it'll be. Fixed, it'll be fine. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so you don't have to vote again." That's what he said. What did you understand that he meant by that, Corinne? Was he basically saying if he wins the election, it's the end of democracy?
Yeah. Of course not. He was not. He was talking conversationally with the crowd, and he was joking after 4 years, he's not going to be on the ballot. They don't need to come out to the polls because it's going to be so good. They're not going to be rushing to the polls. I think this is ridiculous how everything that he says you completely take out of context and want to make it sound like the end of democracy. He's asking for a vote. It's not as dramatic as you think it is, as you want to say it is. And I think it's honestly pathetic that you're clinging to this narrative that he wants to end democracy when he is running in an election to win people's vote.
Okay, that's how you took it. How did you take it, Antjuan?
First of all, that explanation of Trump words doesn't even make sense. Quite frankly, we know that Donald Trump does not believe that people expressing themselves at the ballot box is a clear indication of how elections should go. He did not accept the election results of the 2020 election because he lost, and then incited an insurrection on the nation's capital, has not committed to saying that the people's will at the ballot box in 2024 should be accepted whether he wins or lose. That is not what democracy is all about. There's a lot of people in this country who wrap themselves around Trump and Trumpism, who will say that Donald Trump's words, they don't mean anything, and he's joking, until they do. The same way the insurrection was started on January 6th, the same way some of the divisive, scary, dangerous rhetoric has led to so many dramatic, catastrophic events in this country. It's always, well, his words do not mean anything, don't take them literally, he's just joking, until it comes back to haunt the American people and all of us.
And it's always fine to call him a dictator until someone's shooting him in the face.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I do just want to come back to you in a moment, Corinne, but I just want to ask Antjuan how he interprets those remarks.
Well, I interpret them as if Donald Trump does not win, we have an ongoing problem. The election is stolen, is rigged, it's not legit.
Okay, thank you for that. Corinne, it has to be said, you've given an explanation of those remarks. You say he was simply saying that he can only stand once more, and after that, it won't necessarily matter to him. I have to say, he was asked to clarify them on Fox News by Laura Ingraham, and he didn't take that opportunity to give your explanation.
I didn't see that clip, but I am confident that he did not give your explanation of his comments.
Well, he just let them stand, and as you know, people are interpreting them as saying that he feels that if he gets elected, there won't be a need for any more elections.
He will not be running in any more elections if he gets elected. That is what the comment.
He can't explain it.
Yeah,
she can't justify Trump's words because we all know what that means. He does not want to see democracy and freedom continue as we know them. That's why he says things like, I'll be a dictator on day one, and doesn't give clarification for what that means, does not walk it back. His supporters say it's going to essentially be a civil war if Donald Trump does not win. That language is on rinse and repeat almost every single day in some way, shape, or form. We look at what's in Trump's Project 2025, very flirtatious and adjacent to some of the same language. So when people like Ms. Clark here get on Zoom calls like this or programs like this and try to justify it and try to brush it off like it's not real, the American people have something different to say because we've seen and heard this kind of language before. That's why you see the momentum galvanized by Kamala Harris' candidacy, both for Republicans, Democrats, and independents. And that's what you're going to see, the big change at the ballot box in November.
Corinne, your reply to that?
I just think it's dangerous rhetoric that you continue to dehumanize Trump and make him out to be a dictator. You can never take his words for what they actually mean. And you want to continue to cling to this narrative, this dictator on day one. I know it's still the pinned post on the Democrat campaign Instagrams, but President Trump, that's the kind of language that got President Trump shot just 2 weeks ago. I know we're trying to forget that happened. And I think it is dangerous rhetoric to continue to dehumanize this campaign and make this man out to be a dictator when he is not. He's asking people to vote in an election, in a democratic election, in a fair election. And if he is such an election denier who refused to accept the results, why he's not in the White House right now. He's running in a free and fair election. So he is embracing democracy. There's no dictatorship here. And you continue to cling to this narrative. I think it's very unhelpful and it's really unhealthy.
Okay, now we're not trying to forget what happened with the assassination.
Can I respond to
hang on. No, I think we should move on. This is what Donald Trump said on Fox News when asked by Laura Ingraham about his wife Melania's reaction to that assassination attempt.
She was watching.
Oh, she was watching in real time?
She was watching live. It was all over the place. It was on television. It was on your network, but it was all over the place. And she was watching. I asked her that. I mean, I wasn't there. I was on the ground. And when the world started to, like, you could talk to people, I said, so what was your feeling? And she can't really even talk about it.
Traumatized.
Which is okay, because that means she likes me.
No, she
loves me.
That's good.
What do you make of what Trump said there about Melania, Corinne?
I mean, I think that anyone who's experienced a traumatic event probably has a similar response. I think he took the most lighthearted approach to explain, I think she likes me. They've been married a very long time. I think that she probably does like him. But it is a completely difficult thing to deal with when you almost lose somebody that you love, and it is difficult to talk about. I think that is something that maybe we haven't talked about enough. The experience of his family after that event, I am sure, was incredibly difficult. And he's still out there on the campaign trail. He's still out there talking to crowds as large as the one in Butler County. And I think that would be very hard to let your loved one go back out on a stage after something like that happened. And he is continuing to do that. I think that's very brave, not just of him, but of his family. And it's asking a lot of his family as well.
Antjuan, what did you make of that remark? Melania doesn't seem as prominent, for example, as Kamala Harris's husband in the campaigning.
Well, first let's walk through the sequence of events, because I think Ms. Clark has amnesia about what happened. It was a registered Republican who unfortunately decided to make an assassination attempt on the former president. Nothing to do with Democratic language, nothing to do with about what Donald Trump said about being a dictator on day one. Nothing to do with that. Second of all, you saw Democrats come out and condone political violence in any way, shape, or form. Very opposite. Condone
it. For sure.
Very opposite to what Republicans have done in the past when we've seen political violence against Democrats in any way, shape, or form. I think that's important to note. Second of all, we know words do matter. That's why January 6th happens, where officers were killed, people were injured. So words do matter. And so I think it's important to note the difference in the tone and temperature. What we saw on that video, I could not see the video in real time, but I hope that was emotions coming from the former president, because I do think it's scary. However, Donald Trump was back to business as usual the next day with his divisive rhetoric on Truth Social. He was back to business as usual at rallies and so forth. Some of the very dangerous rhetoric that she is trying to say that it only comes from Democrats. He was back to business as usual, using some of that divisive rhetoric that has gotten us to a place where we've seen people killed by their manifestos that they left behind that are reflective of some of the very same language we see from Donald Trump and his supporters. I think the records need to reflect facts.
Okay, and your thoughts on Melania?
We haven't seen her, so no one can guess about what's happening in her household. She's been absent from the campaign trail. She's certainly been absent from her husband's candidacy for the president. I don't want to read too much on what that means, but I think it's total opposite of what you've seen from when Joe Biden was a candidate. His wife was on the campaign trail, rallying the troops, gathering supporters. Certainly the total opposite of what you see from the second gentleman, while he is crisscrossing the country on behalf of his wife, hoping to be the next president of the United States. Total opposite. I'm not going to read into that, so I'll let people read into and make their own conclusions.
Okay, well, thank you both very much indeed. That was Corinne Clark of Free Press Fail and Antjuan Seawright, a Democratic strategist. And apologies if you're offended by any of the language used there. We're not responsible for the language which our guests use, but of course we don't like it when they do, and we're willing and very willing to apologise for it.